Whatever it is you are trying to build, if you won't sacrifice for it, if you won't be hungry for it, you don't have the right to get it until you will stay up at night and read and work and pray to get to be whoever it is you are trying to be. You have not got the right.
Success ain't free. They ain't passing out money, man. Anybody sending none to your house. You got to go get it.
That is you. That no one can do it for you but you. You must understand that.
Being successful is not an accident. You know what I can't stand when I hear Christians say, if it was the Lord's will, I would have had some money by now. No. You can't dump that on God. Don't dump that on him.
Look at somebody and say, it'll work if you work it. What is your goal and how much, what will you put into it in order to get what you're trying to get from God? How much? I've been wondering why it didn't happen. Nobody ever taught me how much it costs. Greatness is expensive, and it doesn't happen overnight for most people. Yes, there are 1 or 2 people. The rest of us have to work it.
God got a great life for you, man, but you got to want something. What you waiting on? Write it down. Put some faith on it, and then get ready to go to work. He said faith without works is dead.
Every discouraged person, every person who's been feeling like it's just not working, this was your message. This was your message. You think you can wish your way up? You cannot wish your way up. It will work if you work it.
Here's why activity is so important. It finally produces the miracle of reality. Yes, we need to be architects for the future, but the architect needs the bricklayer. Unless somebody is willing to lay bricks, then the entity is never accomplished. No matter how smart you are, nothing much happens in terms of results until you put it into action. So get going.
The dreams God has placed in your heart are not going to come to pass without delays, without people trying to talk you out of it. But if you're going to reach your destiny, you have to have a made-up mind. There should be something you're believing for that you are relentless. Your attitude is, if I have to believe my whole life, I'm not going to stop believing. I'm not going to settle for mediocrity. I'm going to keep pursuing what God put in my heart. It's more than just your will. It's a fire on the inside, a knowing that it's supposed to be yours. Normal people would give up, but you're not normal. You want it on another level. I am not quitting. I am not settling for mediocrity. I'm going to become who God says I am. How bad do you want what God has put in your heart? Bad enough to outlast the opposition? Do you want it bad enough to keep pursuing even when circumstances say it's not going to happen? If you're overcome by problems, you let people talk you out of it, you're not going to have the strength to sustain where God is taking you. Don't have a weak mentality, have a warrior mentality. You have to dig your heels in and say, I am in this for the long haul. I will accomplish my dream. I will meet the right person. You're not moved by what's not working out or by who's not for you. You know who is for you, the Most High God. If you're going to see what you're believing for, you have to be willing to do what other people won't do. Other people may settle where they are. Well, I put in 3 applications. All 3 companies turned me down. Well, I dated 2 girls. Both of them told me I wasn't their type. When the odds are against you, you have to want it on a new level. How bad do you want that promotion? Bad enough to get to work early? Bad enough to do more than what's required? I don't want to take another course. I don't want more work. I just want the promotion. You don't want it bad enough. There are new levels in front of us, but much of it depends on how bad we want it. God is not going to do everything for us. We have to do our part. I don't have any energy. God, I'm always so tired. Are you eating right? Are you exercising? Do you want to get well bad enough to not drink 43 colas a day and sleep 3 hours a night? When He sees you doing all you can, then He'll make things happen that you can't. Life is flying by. We don't get a do-over. This is it. You're destined to leave your mark. You weren't created to fit in. Now do your part and distinguish yourself. Be willing to do what others won't do. One of the saddest things is to come to the end of life and wonder what I could have become. You don't have to wonder. You can start right now.
All of us are 6 inches from success. Don't allow the odds to discourage you. Most people accept the life that they have been given. This life that was working a job that was not just to pay the bills I didn't like, but at the same time I didn't want to get fired.
I was so sick of myself. I was so bored in my life, man. I was so tired of being mediocre. I was losing my mind, man. Going door to door selling life insurance at a debit company. You ever say to yourself, man, there's got to be more to my life than this? If you've ever said that, that's because it is.
There's a part of you that's waiting for you to come, saying, come, I'm waiting for you. Make some decisions so that you can live your authentic life, so that you can step out of a job that's not you. You were not born to live a boring life. Come on.
If normal is getting on your nerves, then you got to change something.
See, once you commit yourself, the how will come. Most people are just satisfied to where they are. 87% of people go to jobs that they hate.
People say life is short. No, life isn't short. It's just too many people take too long to start living. I wasted a lot of valuable time with a lot of people who really didn't deserve to be in my life. You want to get around the right people. You want to be intentional at creating special moments. You want to be intentional in taking care of yourself.
You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. It's not what you don't, it's what you think you need that keeps you from being successful.
Now, you may have some good enough areas in your life, but don't stop there. Keep believing for the fullness of what God promised. God has some of these who would have ever thought blessings coming your way. Thoughts will tell you all the reasons why it's not going to happen for you. You're too old. You don't have the talent, the resources. None of that stops our God.
One of the secrets of your kind of business: rewarding people for small steps of progress. Rewarding people. Sometimes it's just recognition, handshake, pat on the back. Mary, you're doing a fabulous job. And you figure out what those recognitions are. Small steps of progress. Guess what promotion pays if you learn it well? Big money. Getting people to do something they wouldn't ordinarily do by themselves. People will do some unique things by themselves, but if you can figure out a way to say, Mary, if you do this and this, she says, well, I'll go for it. Now, she wouldn't have thought of that on her own. Here's what works magic. It's better than money. Money is a bit unimportant. Here's what's important. Ingenuity. The best place to wake up your ingenuity is what you're doing right now. Representing a unique product and getting customers, recruiting distributors, and promoting and all this stuff. Ingenuity. Figuring out a way. If it doesn't work this way, we'll work another way. I used my ingenuity, made a fortune. My ingenuity worked on doing all these campaigns. The spring campaign and the summer campaign and the winter campaign. This week we're going to recruit school teachers. How many of you got? How many of you got? School. This is school teacher week. School teacher month. I pick out a little category and say, let's go for it. And it doesn't matter what it is. Just dream up something so that somebody's got a little more objective to go for than just their own. Key phrase. We all need to belong to something bigger than ourselves, because we furnish inspiration for what's bigger, and the bigger furnishes inspiration for us. I learned promotion and it paid big money. Here's next I learned. Communication. How to conduct a meeting. I learned identification, logic and reason, attack and confess, solutions. Simple deals on communication. Wasn't easy for me at first. I stood up to give my first presentation. My mind sat back down. Right? Y'all been through that? Opened my mouth, nothing came out for a while. But here's what I did. I did it again. Just jot that phrase down. I did it again. That's the secret to how I got here. 35, 40 years later, it's how I got here. I did it once, it was uncomfortable. That first presentation was so lousy, if I hadn't have been doing it, I'd have gone home. It was not that good. But here's the secret to how I got here. I did it again, and then I did it again, and then I did it again, and I did it again. I remember when I first decided to be a little more animated, right? And walk out away from the podium, right? Get out from just behind the podium. So I got out there, and then I thought, how do you get back? Whoa, I'm stranded out. Remember those times? Doing something for the first time? But you learn quickly in your business, right? In your business, the guy stands up to give his first testimonial, and he's so nervous he forgets his own name, right? And 30 days later, he wants to give a 3-hour testimonial, right? We hardly get him off the stage. So learn communication. How to affect other people with words. That's the greatest art in the world to learn. How to affect other people with words. Key phrase, don't be lazy in language. If you learn to use the gift of your own language wisely, it can make you a fortune and build an incredible life. Here's 3 other things I learned. One is to train. Training people how the business works. And then I've used another word called teach, train and teach. And only to say this, training people how the business works, teaching is how life works. Because here's what all of us need for the 21st century. Business skills and life skills. The life skills are leadership skills. The life skills are learning how to set goals. Now here's the ultimate skill to learn that can transform your life and the life of whoever will listen. The ability to inspire. Inspire means help people to look up a little higher than where they are and wish they could get there. And inspire them that it's possible. Here's how we inspire, by our own testimony. If I can do it, you can. Here's how else we inspire, by others' testimonial. If they can do it, marry you. Getting people to see themselves better than them. Getting people to see themselves richer than they are. Getting people to see themselves more capable next year than they are this year. Getting to see themselves in the future.
This is the word of the Lord to somebody. You will not run from the struggle. You will stand flat-footed in the struggle. And no matter how you're toiling and how tired you are, you will stop asking for miracles to get you out of what God put you into. You will get in that struggle and you will grab them oars and you will deal with the struggle, because God has instructed struggle in this season for your life. I'm almost done. Mark does not mention Peter at all, because Peter missed the battle. And my God, Peter has a habit of missing battles. When Jesus got to the cross, he missed the battle. He denied him and said he wasn't a disciple. He missed the battle. He ended up ashamed and disgraced. He missed the battle. I'm just saying, it could be possible that he should have stayed in the battle. Have you fought hard enough? Have you resisted of the blood? One final thing. He doesn't mention Peter. He only talks about the boats. He only talks about the battle. And then at the last moment, he brings up the bread. And now I understand it. I've never understood why Jesus told them to gather up the fragments. We don't hear where they ever used them. We don't hear where they ever ate. We only hear that the fragments were on the boat. And it is this gospel writer that makes us understand why. The fragments were on the boat to remind them of what God had done before in their life. And the Bible said that they forgot the loaves because of the hardness of their heart. The loaves were there to remind of what God had done in the past. And Jesus said, take the scraps with you. I never could, because my mind draws pictures, I never could figure out who wants to eat this stuff. These leftover scraps in baskets where everybody been eating off them and throwing it away did not sound appetizing to me. So I thought, maybe I'm frivolous, but it seemed like to me, you know, Jesus, if I'm going to work for you for 3 years, you could give me something fresh to eat. What are we going to make with these scraps? With fish in it. If it was just their old bread, I could make some bread pudding or something. But what am I going to do with this old fish and this old bread? God left the fish and the bread so you could remember what he brought you through before. And God knew that a storm was coming in your life. And he said, I want to leave an evidence in your life that when you needed me before, I've always been there. And every time you've ever been in trouble, I brought you through. Everybody that's watching me, if you've ever been in trouble and God brought you through, give him a praise right now.
And I'm saying to you, you know why people do what they do? The people who go after their stuff, what makes it worth it? It's got to be your passion. You got to love it, ladies and gentlemen. You got to love it. It's got to be what you are supposed to do. You want to sing, and even though they want to invite you to Carnegie Hall, you're going to sing to anybody that listens to you, including singing to yourself. I used to talk to my plants when nobody else would listen to me. You got to write, even if no one published your book, write, because that was given to you to do. You do what it is you're supposed to. You're supposed to build something. You're supposed to create something. I don't know how to do it. Learn. Do whatever is required. Just go out there. It's possible you can get what you want. It's necessary. If you want it, you got to go into action. You got to be willing to experiment. You got to be willing to fail and to succeed. You got to be willing to form and to develop new relationships. It's you. It's on you. You got to make that happen. Nobody's going to bring it to you on a silver platter and say, here's your dream manifested. No, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. It's difficult. Yes, right. And it's worth it.
People ask, hey man, these kids, man, it's rough dealing with them. That's right. That's right. You think peer pressure happened overnight? We went through peer pressure. I remember as a kid, some guys said, hey Les, me and another fellow named Willie Lower, we were going home. Hey man, we're going down to Goulds, man, and knock off a grocery store. I said, look here, I don't want no part of that. I'll see y'all later. Say, y'all chicken. I said, that's all right, you say whatever you want. Low star. I'm not chicken, man, don't call me chicken. Then why don't you come? We didn't even ask you to come into place, man. All you do is just drive the car, that's all. I don't know how to drive that good. Well, we're trying to get Les to come. He's chicken. Hey, I'm not driving nothing, all right? Willie, don't care about what they say, man. Leave him alone. You want to go do it? You find somebody else to drive, or you drive yourself. Come on, Willie, man. Pull him, he stopped. I ain't chicken. All I got to do is drive. Yeah, I said, Willie, that sounds simple, man. Don't go, man. He went. And the next day, we read the newspaper where when they robbed the store, when they came out running to a car, the merchant, the man who owned the store, came out just shooting wildly, and he hit the driver in the head. So peer pressure didn't just start in the 90s or the 80s. It's difficult and it's challenging for kids right now. And it's going to take some easy, simple methods to help bring them out of this madness, this insanity. No. Is it hard? Yes. Let's look at what we've been doing. What has worked? What has not worked? Let's look at where we want to go. What is it that we want to produce? What is it that we want to create for our young people? And as we think about that, start experimenting with different methods and techniques to create and to produce that. And begin to believe that it's possible through our commitment, through our vision, through our determination, our relentlessness. Because of our belief, it's possible that we can reduce the teenage homicide rate, the teenage pregnancy rate, the dropout rate. That it's possible, looking at what kind of world are they going to be in. As we look at the global economy, that as we begin to use our collective will and genius and resources, it's possible that we can create an educational system that not only will test their minds with information and facts and figures, but will teach them how to think and be creative. And what does it mean to be a human being and to value human life? And how do you make relationships work? How do you bounce back from adversity? It's possible that we can give them a curriculum that will give their lives a sense of purpose and direction and meaning, and teach them how to begin to know and operate on a higher level of being, where they become assets to our society rather than liabilities.
Just to pay the bills I didn't like, but at the same time, I didn't want to get fired.
I was so sick of myself. I was so bored in my life, man. I was so tired of being mediocre. I was losing my mind, man. Going door to door, selling life insurance at a debit company. You ever say to yourself, man, there's got to be more to my life than this? If you've ever said that, that's because it is.
There's a part of you that's waiting for you to come, saying, come, I'm waiting for you. Make some decisions so that you can live your authentic life, so that you can step out of a job that's not you. You were not born to live a boring life. Come on.
If normal is getting on your nerves, then you got to change something.
See, once you commit yourself, the how will come. Most people are just satisfied to where they are. 87% of people go to jobs that they hate.
People say life is short. No, life isn't short. It's just too many people take too long to start living. I wasted a lot of valuable time with a lot of people who really didn't deserve to be in my life. You want to get around the right people. You want to be intentional at creating special moments. You want to be intentional in taking care of yourself.
You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. It's not what you don't.
Whatever it is you are trying to build. If you want, sacrifice for it. If you want to be hungry for it, you don't have this right to get it until you will stay up at night and rot and work and pray to get to be whoever it is you are trying to be, you have not got the right. If success and free day and pissing out money, man, everybody sending none to your house, you get to go get it, that is you. That on one can do it for you. But you must understand that being successful is not an accident. You know what I can't stand when I hate, say, if it was a lager where I could had no one can bump that on God. Don't bump that on him. Look at saying it, tell him. What is your goal and how much? What will you put in order to get what you trying to get from God? How much? I have been wondering when it didn't happen. Nobody ever taught me how much it cost. Generation spread, and it doesn't happen overnight for most people. Yes, there are one or two people